Welcome to Brainstorm MTG. I'm ELD, and this is Fast Effect, Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have Death Shadow, one of the most innovative things to happen out of that shared legacy team event on the Pro Tour. Really tremendous improvements. They're subtle, but they make such a huge difference. Reanimate, pulling so much weight. Make Street Wraith that much better. And then Throne of Geth in the sideboard. Just some real significant improvements in Death Shadow. This black-blue build, I'm really loving. The ability to use your life as a resource just gives you another thing to be thinking about, and I find it to be very fun. Pretty much every tournament I've played, I've felt like I could really have done better even if I'm winning. I feel like I can improve, and I love that feeling. And here we are against Aaron, who's on a robots build. And we'll find out pretty quickly what type of build he's on. Chalice at 1, and that gets dazed. Chalice at 1 used to just straight up murk Death Shadow. All of your threats cost 1. It was Delver, Death Shadow, and Deathrite Shaman. Now, a bit more variety. Street Wraith getting cast is definitely worthwhile, and your Gurmag Anglers as well. Of course, it does hit Reanimate. Chalice at 1 is still very good. It's just not a complete game over like it was in the previous builds. Aaron's life total lowering pretty quickly. And oh, there's something you don't see every day. A walking ballista able to come in with just 1 counter and KO a Death Shadow, which got in just under the wire. It was 12 life, so it was just a 1/1. So that is rough. But another Death Shadow and a Gurmag Angler coming down to follow it up. Death Shadow, a 4/4, Gurmag, a 5/5. And this could be game depending on what happens here. A removal spell to get rid of Vault Scourge would be absolutely just a huge blowout. Of course, it can't be Snuff Out. It is black. Master of Ethereum swings goes up 2 thanks to the Master. Oh, but Snuff Out can take out Master of Ethereum, putting us down to 3 life. 10 plus 5 is 15 last time I checked. So that is the perfect top deck. Going to 1 just for the extra damage. And that is a wrap. So Death Shadow showing some explosiveness there. Looked bad for a second. Lifelink from the Vault Scourge and the massive body on Master of Ethereum seemed like it could be a problem, but right off the top, Snuff Out, the perfect answer to that situation. Cleared the board of blockers and just went for the throat, which is what Death Shadow does really well. Really enjoying this build quite a bit. Looking forward to getting to reanimate some opponent's threats a bit more. I have not hit a Gristlebrand yet. I definitely would like to live that dream before I move on to another deck. So many openings from Reanimator involve careful study effects, mostly Faithless Looting now. The draw 2, discard 2, set up for a turn 2 win. That's a very common line. And Reanimate just trumps the heck out of that. Figuring out what to bring in here. So Throne of Geth, one of the great new pieces of tech that we've been given here. Scar's a Mirrodin card, kind of been out for a long time. Just was never really on the radar. I'd never heard of it before the team Pro Tour. And what it does is it bumps Chalice of the Void up. You can tap it, sacrifice to proliferate, and moving Chalice of the Void from from 1 counter to 2 counters is an absolute blowout. There's no 2 casting cost cards in Death Shadow to speak of. I mean, you've got Daze and your other Throne of Geths, but I mean, realistically, there's nothing in there that you're shutting off. On the other side of the board, you are effectively shutting off like a huge chunk of their deck. I mean, they don't play any 1-drops if they're on Chalice for the most part. So their curve basically starts at 2, and you just cut that bottom rung of the ladder right off. So their other Chalices, any of their Thorn effects, most of their creatures come down at 2. You've got Arcbound Ravager, Vault Scourge, Walking Ballista most commonly is going to come down at 2 mana. Otherwise, they've got to get up to 4 mana to be able to get it to come down as a 2/2. So really punishing, and just a lot of fun to have such a powerful sideboard card. You know, it's always good when you have sideboard cards that are so powerful that when you draw them, you're just hugely favored to win that match. I'm not a big fan of your sideboard kind of nudging things a little bit. I mean, I like to have just absolute blowouts, especially when you're playing a deck with Brainstorm. I mean, you can dig toward those bombs and find a way to just completely cripple your opponent. Aaron looks like he's continuing to mulligan. That is not particularly great here. There's not a lot of effects that are actually so worthwhile that you're going to be happy to mull into them. Pretty much just lesser quality hands that have less cards when you're mulling. Oh, and this is likely a wrap. So it looks like no lands there. Going to 4. Oh, going to 5. Okay, this is not that bad. Going to 4 is rough. Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal into Thorn. A very reasonable start at 5. And Delver of Secrets, that is a non-creature spell right there, so not affected by Thorn yet. Mishra's Factory. Not a great pairing with his mana sources, Ancient Tomb and Lotus Petal. Neither of those particularly good at animating Factory. And Master of Ethereum being cast here. Street Wraith cycled in response. Can't force a will anyways. Oh, but here's a force. So, we'll get the next thing. Another Delver. So Master of Ethereum, currently a 2/2, can become a 3/3 with the animation. So 5 damage a turn would be able to come in. Looks like this race is going to be won by Death Shadow under the current rules here. Delver's going to be able to close this out in 2 turns with a flip. Force a will in hand. And Aaron knows it. Was revealed by Delver. See if he animates. Walking Ballista comes down. And this is going to be worth Force of Willing. That'll keep that Delver alive. And no pumps. So it looks like Aaron's at 11. Ooh, Diabolic Edict. So perhaps some foresight there from Aaron, not tapping the Mishra's Factory. He can now choose to lose either the Factory or the Master of Ethereum. And just gonna jam the Edict here. And nope, looks like just an error then. Choosing to sacrifice the Master means that Factory was not destined to take a bullet for the team. Those Delvers just proving to be too much, too early. pushing through 6 damage a turn versus what looked to be a slowed down board because of the Thorn, and it really did not inconvenience Death Shadow very much at all. That's all for this one. If you enjoyed the video, please help grow the channel by subscribing. You'll be notified when we upload new videos like Fast Effect, Double Speed Magic with commentary, or Untapped, our raw tournament gameplay. Thanks for watching.